Boatworks today is sponsored by Total Boat and Alexial Yacht Coatings, as well as supported by the generosity from the beautiful folks over on Patreon. Thank you so much.
Well, it's official. My OCD definitely got the best of me on this keel. However, you gotta admit, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now, honestly, I've lost track on how many layers of fairing compound I put down on this thing, but it's several. I'm gonna say more than 4, but probably less than 10. Anyways, but the end result is this thing is just dead flat. I don't care where you put a straight edge on here, it is dead flat. The entire length of the keel, the width, diagonals on here, anywhere you go, it is dead flat. So now I'm happy. But that said, this took far, far longer than what I was hoping for. But it is what it is. I will never be in this, hopefully, I will never be in this situation again on this boat. So just a one and done kind of a deal. Now, the next steps that I want to do is, because looking a little bit further down the road here, the floor is getting really close to going down as well as in the bulkheads. But before I do that, I'm going to put down a barrier coat in what's going to be the bilge area. So to me, it just makes a lot of sense. Now, is a barrier coat mandatory for something like this below the, under the bilge area? No, it's not. Is it a bad idea? Absolutely not. I'm looking at this as like a belt and suspenders. Now, a barrier coat's going to do a couple of things. For one, it's going to do the obvious. It's going to seal the fiberglass that's on here. So a bilge, I have never seen a dry bilge for very long. There's going to be moisture in here. So just having a few layers of some barrier coat is just going to be a little level of protection to prevent the fiberglass itself from absorbing any moisture. It's not a big issue at all, and it's not really something I'm concerned about at all. However, the next part, it is more of like an ongoing maintenance thing. So if I can get a barrier coat down on here, again, in the bilge area, that's just going to make future cleaning a lot easier. Again, because I mentioned it's going to seal the fiberglass. It's going to give me a much smoother surface for wiping down. And for me, that's the largest advantage. I am going to have a couple of access panels cut into the bilge here, mainly for servicing the intake for the bilge pumps. I'm going to have 2 that are in the aft port and starboard quarter berth areas. And then I'm also going to have one more just forward. It'll be in the V berth area for sure, but it's going to be just forward of the keel. Now, I don't really have a reason for having that other than a just in case kind of a situation. Now, I've already gone through and I've vacuumed up. I've wiped everything down with the surface cleaner dewaxer several times. This bilge area is about as clean as it's going to get. So I think it's time to start mixing up some material. Now, in the bilge area, I'm going to be using Total Protect by Total Boat. Now, this is a barrier coat. Barrier coats are commonly used on the exterior of the hull below the waterline. And the main function there is that it prevents moisture from being able to be absorbed by the fiberglass. Now, that's not the only place that this can be used. Whether it's in a bilge area that's always going to be prone to having some water sloshing around, or it's on the exterior of the hull, it's still serving the same purpose. It's preventing moisture from being able to kind of wick itself into the fiberglass. Now, the other reason that I'm going with this is that it is a fast turnaround. So I can reapply coats roughly about every 2 hours in the temperatures that I'm in. And it has a very long open time. So, and it's going to work out great. It's going to roll out well, and it's just going to, it checks all the boxes basically. Now, as far as using this stuff, easy mixture, it gets mixed 3-to-1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour out 12 ounces of the base and then 4 ounces of the catalyst. Now, this barrier coat, and most of them are like this, they require what's called an induction time. So basically after you mix the base and the converter, stir it all up, let it sit for 15 minutes. It just allows the chemical reaction to get a little bit of a kickstart. You want to be able to do that before you add the reducer. Now, the reducer for this is going to be added up to 10%. Now, something to keep in mind, barrier coats work off of film thickness. So you don't want to thin this out for the sake of being able to have it roll out smooth, but it's rolling out super, super thin. You're not going to get the level of protection that you need in a given number of applications. So I'm going to thin this. I'm going to guess right around like 5%, maybe even a little bit less, because I'm looking for build. I don't necessarily care that it looks good because it's going to get buried. It's not going to be seen. I'm looking for that protection, and I want to get that level of protection as quickly as I can. So like I said, 12 ounces of this, 4 ounces of this, and then 12, I'm going to do probably a half an ounce of the reducer. Give it a stir, and just see how it looks when it's flowing off of the stir stick. Now, barrier coats, they are a very high solids material. So what that means is that if it's been sitting on the shelf, even for as little as a day or two, all the solids that are in here, they all settle on the bottom. So before you use this, you've got to give this thing a very thorough stir. Otherwise, what you end up having is all the solids are stuck on the bottom. All this needs to be reincorporated into the actual base. Now, you could come in by hand and stir this like I am now. Set aside probably a good half hour if you're going to do that. So I'm going to reach for my easy button here, and we're going to get this thing knocked out in less than a minute. Say hello to my new little friend. Now, I am not going to stick this thing on high. I don't want to splash it all over the place. Let's see, what's going to be the best way to tackle this here? On an angle? Let's try it on an angle. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of like a Dairy Queen ice cream cone. All right, let's see if I can do a quick clean up on this paddle here without making a ginormous mess. Looks good to me. Now, I will come in and clean this up later, but for right now, it is more than good. And I got a nice, creamy mixture here. Beautiful. I'm gonna need my glasses for this one. So 3-to-1 mixture, what did I say I was gonna do? 12 and 4, okay. So 12 ounces of the base, hopefully without making too much of a mess. I will say I've worked with pretty much all the major barrier coats that are on the market and have been on the market for forever. And they all have one thing in common. I mean, they all more or less work the same. However, the one common thing that they definitely have is they have a very, very punchy odor to them. I mean, burn your eyes kind of a punch. And for some reason, this one not so much. I mean, I'm not saying that it smells like a bed of roses or anything like that, but it's not, when you open the can, it doesn't like blow you back a couple of feet, which I personally appreciate. So roughly 12 ounces, I overshot it a little bit. Now, just so I don't overshoot this, I am going to pour the hardener or the catalyst converter. It's all the same thing depending on what it is you're working with. I'm going to pour it into a separate cup just to make sure that I've got it right where it needs to be. Then I'll dump it in. So I am looking for roughly 4 ounces of material. Ooh, hold that thought. I got an idea. So a while back, I bought a whole case of these things. These are catheter syringes. Why I felt that I needed to buy one, or a whole case, I have no idea, but it's gonna save the day. All right, so 20 milliliters is about 3/4 of an ounce. Could I have just poured this off? Yeah. But then the lids tend to get all crusty and nasty and really difficult to get back off or to get a good seal going on. So I think showing a little bit of patience here is going to pay off long run. Okay, just to confirm, 12 ounces, 4 ounces, 4, 8, 12, 3-to-1, 16. Yep, this is right. Cheers. I seriously doubt this 16-ounce batch is going to be enough to do the entire bilge, but I'd rather mix up a small batch and have to come back down and remix another batch here and not waste anything rather than mix up what I think is going to be enough and have it end up being far too much. And now I'm wasting material. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and cap this just to help slow the evaporation of the solvents. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. All right, it has been actually a little more than 15 minutes, closer to 20, but that's all right. Now, I'm sure this question is going to come up. even though this is a catalyzed material, this does not behave like a polyester or even an epoxy. As in, like, once the hardener is added, or the catalyst converter, once it's added, now you're racing the clock. You have there's a long pot life with this. I forget exactly how long it is, but it's hours. So no need to rush. You know, when you're rushing, that's usually when something goes sideways for you. So just taking my time. Again, there's no immediate urgency at all. Other than I want to make sure I get all this laid up before it gets too late tonight, right? Okay, so one more quick little stir after the induction. This should be all set and ready to go. Now I have 12 ounces here, a little bit more. So I'm going to start off less than the 10% because you can reduce this up to 10. That doesn't mean that you have to reduce it up to that full 10%. So let's see, what I say, a full 20 milliliters was 3/4 of an ounce, give or take. And what I'm looking for on the viscosity on this, I want it to flow off of this stir stick in about the consistency of like milk. That's what I'm going for. You can reduce it further if you're looking to get a very, very smooth coat. But as I think I mentioned, I'm looking for build first, appearance probably last, because no one's going to see it. Yeah, more like a cream, not so much a milk, but I think at least for this first batch, I'm going to run with this. I'll remember the measurements, and on my next mix, then I will adjust accordingly. So cap it. Let me get everything moved over to the boat, situated, and then finally start laying down some color on this thing. Well, I did not use all of the roughly 17 ounces that I mixed up, but probably 2/3 of it. So on the next batch, I'll probably do, about 2/3 of that. Now, all right, so now I've got a couple hours to kill here. To try and speed along the process, I want to get some air moving through this cabin here. Now, I can do this a couple different ways. If I wanted, I could just set up a box fan in the companionway, let it blow air in that way. That would work perfectly fine. It's going to end up blowing all the fumes from the from this barrier coat back up into the shop. Or I can use this little beast. There aren't very many times that I come across something that almost instantly makes my must-have list, but this thing has proven itself to be an absolute gem in the shop. So hopefully you can still hear me all right. I've had this unit now for 6-8 weeks, something like that, and put it through its ringers. And when it comes to working in confined spaces like the inside of really the inside of anything, whether it's in a room or your house or a boat, that is a portable air scrubber. That pulls all the nasty through 3 or 4 different filters, filters it all out, then that's clean exhaust air blowing out that front there. dumb luck, but it just happens to fit the opening of the forward hatch, and most forward hatches beautifully. I mean, almost like a glove. I couldn't be any luckier. So I just pulled up the data sheet on this Total Protect, and in the temperatures that I'm in right here in the shop, it is 66 degrees. So I'm going to have a minimum recoat time of between 2 and 3 hours, probably closer to 3 hours. But this was a very welcome surprise. I have an open time of 2 months, up to 60 days that I can come back and recoat this without having to do any sanding. So it's already late. It's about 7 o'clock at night now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check out. Now, if I wanted to, if I was trying to be the eager beaver, I could come back up here around 10 o'clock tonight and get coat number 2 on. It would be pushing that threshold on the minimum recoat time. And what I risk doing, if I do that, what I risk have happening is a thing called solvent trap. So right now, the coat number 1 has been rolled out. All the solvents, so the reducer, I forget what other solvents there's actually in with the Total Protect, but all that material is slowly evaporating out. And if I were to come back in too soon and with another coat, I'm going to seal that solvent in there, and that's called solvent trap. And that solvent is going to find a way out. I mean, there's one way or the other, it's going to find its way out. And the way that usually happens is after about a week or 2, you start to get some big bubbles and blisters, like bubbles the size of like a softball. The paint's just going to start bubbling up and then flaking off after it fully cures. So to try and minimize that, I'm just going to check out for the night, give this thing a good probably 12, 14 hours to start setting up and do its thing. And then I should be safe. We'll be back in the morning. We'll get coat number 2 down and see how it looks. So it has been a few more days, and I got 2 more coats down for a total of 3 coats. And I think I'm just going to call it good at this point. I do need to let this material set up for a few days because I need to be able to stand on the areas that I just painted so that I can actually coat the top of the keel. And again, I'm not going to show that. I'll take care of that off camera. But it's going to be the exact same process. 3 coats of Total Protect and let it cure. And then I think we're actually ready to start finally getting the floor or the sole as well as the bulkheads in. Now, I don't foresee any kind of hiccups on kind of dragging that out any longer. I think I finally crossed all the, how's that go? Crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. I think everything is ready. This was just the last hurdle that, for whatever reason, I just kept on slipping my brain. But anyways, I have a feeling this video is already starting to get a little bit long. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you in advance. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave those down below. I'll do my best to follow up with you. And as always, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I will see you in the next video.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.